WWE superstar CM Punk says he's still going to be in the mix despite his current triceps injury, which forced him to undergo surgery and miss WrestleMania 40. Gunther talks Brock Lesnar's ongoing absence from WWE amid rumors they were set to face off at WrestleMania in Philadelphia later on this year. The Rock comments on his appearance as a heel last Friday night on SmackDown. Darby Allin talks his reference to former AEW EVP Cody Rhodes last week on AEW Dynamite. Triple H hypes up Gunther's Intercontinental Championship defense tonight on Raw against Jey Uso. Tony Khan was spotted at RevPro in London last night alongside Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy, and an update on several absent AEW talents. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about CM Punk, because he's commented on his absence from WWE, but could he still have a role to play on WWE television? Of course, CM Punk was on the road to WrestleMania 40, where he was going to have a match against Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, but his Elimination Chamber victory won't happen this year, leaving fans to wait for his return from a triceps injury instead. Now, even though he's out of action, Punk wants to remain in the mix. Now, Punk participated in an interview with TNT Sports during his attendance at UFC 298 on Saturday night. In the discussion, he covered topics such as his recovery from torn triceps, The Rock's return for the WrestleMania 40 build-up, and the potential for his own return to WWE in a televised role whilst he's still injured. He said, quote, "Yeah, well, I'm a clumsy idiot. I tore my left tricep about 2 years ago, so the right one was jealous. I'm like an old car. I'm like a 72 Nova. You know what I mean? We have to change some parts every now and again. So once we fix up all the parts, the engine is still strong. We'll still be good to go. We're thinking 6 to 8 months, but I'm not really in a rush to get back to compete. I'm in a rush to get healthy. I'm in a rush to get better, and the sooner I do that, the better I'll be when I come back." CM Punk stated that he believes that timing is crucial, emphasizing that he wrestled for a significant period before signing with WWE. Having spent 10 years on the road without a break, he acknowledges the toll it took on him. He admits that in his youth, he pursued every opportunity without considering balance, leading to burnout. 10 years ago, he reached the point of burnout and decided to explore other ventures, which allowed him to engage in various fulfilling activities. With time, he has realized that past grievances become less significant as people come and go and leadership changes. Returning now feels comfortable, akin to an old slipper. He's grateful for the experience, acknowledging that the journey wouldn't have been the same without its challenges. He concludes by expressing gratitude for the present moment, emphasizing that it's a good day. Now, Punk also spoke on The Rock's return, saying he's glad to be in the mix even though he's injured, and that will provide him with an opportunity to talk a little bit of trash. He said, quote, "I think it's fantastic. 10 years ago, I was the guy that was wrestling The Rock when he came back, and now 10 years later, he's coming back, and I think the landscape has completely changed, right? WrestleMania is 2 nights now. It's even bigger. Him coming back only helps. I always say high tide raises all ships, so I'm just happy that even though I'm hurt, I'm still going to kind of be in the mix. My mouth still works, so I'm going to be able to talk some trash. I don't know if you saw the kickoff we did in Vegas with Rock and Roman and Seth and Cody. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to just continue to do that while I'm recuperating, because I can always just talk trash with the best of them. It's the best part. It's what I do." Now, as Punk mentioned, he was on the panel during the WrestleMania 40 kickoff event in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. He had a lot of fun, even though Big E jokingly admitted that he was only there so Punk didn't get fired. Only time will tell to see how much he actually shows up on the road to WrestleMania, but there have been rumors that possibly WWE would be looking for him to do a commentary role whilst he recovers from his injury. Would you like to see CM Punk back on commentary in WWE, and what show would you like him to see him do commentary on? Would it just be Raw? Would it be SmackDown? Would it be NXT? Would it just be premium live events? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, this is a really interesting story because, of course, reportedly there were plans to do Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 40 this year, but of course that's no longer the case. In fact, Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, has addressed Brock Lesnar's recent absence from the company and its plans. Of course, on January 25, a lawsuit was filed hitting Vince McMahon with allegations of sexual trafficking, abuse, and more. Throughout the lawsuit, there were also several unnamed parties, including one who was referred to as WWE Superstar, who is involved in the alleged situation. WWE Superstar was described as someone who was a former UFC heavyweight champion and was negotiating with WWE at the time that some of the alleged events occurred. While it's very important to express that Brock Lesnar was at no point named in the lawsuit, the Wall Street Journal reported that the person being referred to as WWE Superstar was indeed Brock Lesnar. This reportedly led to WWE pulling Lesnar from creative plans, including the Royal Rumble match on January 27 and WrestleMania at the beginning of April. Lesnar's planned opponent for WrestleMania prior to his removal was reportedly the Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Gunther himself has now commented on the match seemingly, quote, falling through. In an interview with GV Wire, he said, quote, "I was always vocal about my dream match in the past, but that fell through now. I don't know if we'll see Brock again, if that's ever going to happen, but I'm wide open when it comes to that as of now." As for what WrestleMania may hold for Gunther, now that the match with Lesnar is off, he said, quote, "People want to challenge me for the championship, and that's just the mindset I have when it comes to that right now. I'm not really stressed about who I'm going to face at WrestleMania," end quote. As some other notes on Lesnar, he has also recently been removed from the cover art of the WWE 2K24 40 Years of WrestleMania Edition video game, and he's also even been removed from the intro video that plays before every WWE television show. As of this recording, on February 19, Brock Lesnar is still listed as a current superstar on WWE's.com's official roster page, whereas Vince McMahon's profile on the same page was removed from public viewing on January 26 and deleted entirely on February 10 as well. So, of course, we get any more updates on Brock Lesnar. His future, of course, we'll let you know in the future. But now that Brock Lesnar is not going to be at WrestleMania and certainly facing off against Gunther, who do you think Gunther faces off against at the Showcase of the Immortals? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments section below. Now, The Rock was on SmackDown last Friday, a newly heel version of The Rock, somewhat of a throwback actually to some of his prior heel days in WWE, and The Rock has commented on his SmackDown appearance following the February 16 episode from Salt Lake City, Utah. On the February 16 edition of SmackDown, The Rock officially joined the Bloodline and explained his heel turn. He followed up by also warning Cody Rhodes that he will make sure he leaves WrestleMania 40 as a loser. Of course, Rhodes will challenge The Rock's cousin, Roman Reigns, for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40 in April. On February 18, the People's Champion took to social media to share a clip of his SmackDown appearance and comment on the night. He wrote, quote, "He's back. Greatness sins. Devil disrupts. Always speaks the truth, even when he lies. Record-setting crowd. Thank you, Salt Lake City. Mana, energy, eruption, chills. People's Champ. Hashtag SmackDown." Now, it remains to be seen if The Rock will be competing in the ring at WrestleMania 40 as of this recording, but the speculation and even really the confirmation from The Rock in prior interviews himself suggests that he will be wrestling, most likely in a tag team match alongside Roman Reigns to face off against Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. Now, there was a bit of controversy when it came to AEW Dynamite last week, particularly with a promo from Darby Allin. Now, Darby Allin has addressed this reference to Cody Rhodes that he did in the promo on the February 14 edition of Dynamite. Now, in a segment that got many people talking, Darby Allin subliminally referenced how influential WWE superstar Cody Rhodes had been in bringing him into AEW during his time as an executive vice president of the company, as opposed to his fellow EVPs, the Young Bucks. Now, in an interview with Stephanie Chase of Digital Spy, Darby Allin opened up on why he made reference to the American Nightmare during the promo. Darby explained, quote, "That's easy because he's the reason I'm in AEW. You think back to my debut, I wrestled him at Fyter Fest and we went a 20-minute Broadway draw. For him to take a chance on me that early, I was relatively super unknown still. I was never really the guy on the independent scene. He did that. You've got to give respect where respect is due. I feel very strongly on paying homage to how I got here because I never thought I was going to get here. I begged people for jobs. I wasn't part of the little California crew. I had to sit by and watch all these press conferences and have all these people that had no business being on national television get on national television. Meanwhile, I knew exactly what I was capable of doing if I was given the opportunity. Fast forward all those years later, and now look at me. My biggest problem is when people try and ignore the history of things as if something never happened. I'm like, we're not stupid, come on." Now, Darby Allin and Sting will defend their newly acquired AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks at the Revolution pay-per-view on March 3rd, in what will be the final time the Icon competes inside of a wrestling ring. So what are your thoughts on what Darby Allin is saying now? Was he right to bring up Cody Rhodes, or a bit like what Rhea Ripley was referencing last week, is this a case of someone else in one company getting another person in another company over? Is that beneficial for television? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. Now, we spoke earlier on about Gunther. He's set to defend his Intercontinental Championship tonight live on Monday Night Raw. And WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque has hyped the biggest threat yet, the current Intercontinental Champion Gunther. On the February 12 edition of Raw, Jey Uso and the New Day defeated Imperium, with Jey Uso pinning Giovanni Vinci. Following the bout, it was announced that Uso will challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship on the February 19 episode of Raw, that is tonight live on USA Network. Now, last night on February 18, WWE CCO Triple H took to social media to share a hype video for Gunther versus Jey Uso for the title on Raw. The caption reads, quote, "A historic reign may have just met its biggest threat yet. Gunther defends his IC title against main event Jey Uso tomorrow night live on Raw." Also announced for tonight's show, Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre, while the Judgment Day will face R-Truth, The Miz, and DIY in an 8-man tag team match. Now, Tony Khan, he was actually at Fulham yesterday alongside two of his AEW stars, that being Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy, but he also was at a indie show in London as well, because AEW President, CEO Tony Khan has been spotted with top AEW stars Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin at an independent event. Now, as previously reported, AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy made a surprise appearance at the February 18 RevPro High Stakes event in London. Cassidy shockingly defended and retained his title in a 7-way match, but Mr. Freshly Squeezed wasn't the only AEW representation at the show. Per WrestleTalk's Luke Owen, AEW President Tony Khan was spotted in attendance for the event. Khan was seen in a skybox alongside both Orange Cassidy and current AEW World Tag Team Champion Darby Allin. Both men were seen sitting with Tony Khan at the Fulham game on Saturday, February 17 as well. Another reason why Khan may have been in attendance is that RevPro High Stakes show marks the final independent wrestling match for Will Ospreay ahead of his beginning with All Elite Wrestling as well. Ospreay challenged Michael Oku for the RevPro British Heavyweight Championship on the show. The former New Japan Pro Wrestling star is set to face Konosuke Takeshita on March 3rd at AEW Revolution. And finally, speaking of AEW, we've got an update on some absent talents recently. Now, AEW has a deep roster, meaning that often signed talent will find themselves with really nothing to do, and it's led to some backstage frustration from some. Now, a new update has some insight into two missing AEW talents, one recovering from injury and one seemingly just waiting for something to happen. According to Fightful Select, Yuka Sakazaki was recovering from a neck injury last year, though she has been pitched in non-wrestling capacities during her injury status. Sakazaki was briefly removed from AEW's website roster before being returned. There's no update as why that's the case. Now, Sakazaki came back from her neck injury to wrestle in November and December of 2023 for Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling in Japan. Sakazaki last wrestled on American programming at the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, where she challenged Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena in a losing effort. She has not wrestled on AEW programming since February of 2023 in the waning days of AEW Dark. Also missing from AEW programming is former Factory member Nick Comoroto. Comoroto was backstage at a recent AEW Collision, but has not wrestled for any AEW-related programming since October of last year, when he was involved in a 3-way match on an episode of Ring of Honor. Comoroto is said to not be injured in any capacity, but is simply not being used at the moment. While Factory leader QT Marshall recently departed AEW, he since returned to the company in a non-wrestling capacity. Comoroto had previously presence on Dark and Dark Elevation before both shows ended. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.